Isaiah 34:16. Seek ye out the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail, none shall one omit. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered. I got my B-I-B-L-E and I keeps it on my side. I got my B-I-B-L-E and I keeps it in my ride. I got my B-I-B-L-E and I keeps it all the time. Teach it on the blocks, we be on the most high's grind. I got my B-I-B-L-E and I keeps it on my side. I got my B-I-B-L-E and I keeps it in my ride. I got my B-I-B-L-E and I keeps it all the time. Teach it on the block, we be on the...
We Israel united in Christ, and we are here to show you blacks and Hispanics and you Native American Indians that you are the people of the Bible. And these curses fit you, because these curses have befallen you today in the land of your captivity. You are still in the land of your captivity. That's why you blacks and Hispanics be getting killed by the police, because you're breaking God's laws and you're not teaching them to your children. Give me Deuteronomy 28:15.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
So the Bible say it shall come to pass. These curses, they shall come to pass. Read.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So if you blacks and Hispanic, then hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, which is in this Bible. Read.
To observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
So these commandments that the Most High gave you this day, read.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So all these curses that's in this Bible was going to come against the children of Israel, you so-called blacks and Hispanics and Native American Indians. Read 46.
Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Read it again.
And they shall be upon thee.
And these curses shall be upon thee, you so-called blacks and Hispanics. Read.
For a sign.
So these curses are going to be upon the children of Israel for a sign, to let them know that they are the people of the Bible.
That's right.
Read.
And for a wonder.
And for a wonder.
And upon thy seed.
And then these curses are going to be upon your seed, your children. Like I said before, if you didn't teach your children the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, that these curses are going to befall you and your children. Read that again for that part.
Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee.
And these curses.
For a sign and for a wonder.
The sign is that these curses to identify the people of the Bible. That's what these curses are, to identify the true people of the book. Right. Not the ones in Israel with the ponytails, pigtails on the side of their face.
Right.
Read.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
So these curses are going to be upon you blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans for a wonder. Read.
And upon thy seed forever.
So that was going to be upon the seed forever. So let's check out some of these curses that's going to be upon your seed forever. Let's give me Deuteronomy 28 and 32.
32. Thy sons and thy daughters.
So the black and Hispanic woman had sons and daughters in the time of slavery, in captivity, when you came, when the Arabs and the Africans and the so-called white man came and grabbed you from Africa.
Right.
You had children. Read.
Thy sons and thy daughters.
Your sons and your daughters, read.
Shall be given unto another people.
So who did that happen to in the slave trade, in captivity? Read that again.
Thy sons and thy daughters.
It say your sons and your daughters. Your sons and your daughters, read.
Shall be given.
They shall be given, read.
Unto another people.
So who was these, the other peoples your sons and daughters was given to? Who was they given to in the auction blocks in the slave trades?
We were to meet here by the auction block. Ah, there he is. Up to now, I worked my place myself. But I quit.
He only paid £20 for the wench, and she was nearly 4 months showing. And then, if she didn't take the puff and die.
Gentlemen, your attention, I beg. As advertised, we have a fine cargo of choice, healthy slaves recently landed by the Lord Ligonier, largely from the river Gambia. They've made a fine passage and in prime, healthy condition. It's a fine batch up here.
Careful, we don't need more damaged goods now.
All right, first lot, get them out, the gentlemen are waiting, out.
Come on, wench.
Wenches, gentlemen, first to whet your appetites, as it were. Those desiring to inspect the items being offered for defects and blemishes, please step forward at your pleasure. Calling your attention to the first item being offered for sale. Now, she's a fine black pearl indeed, gentlemen. She's in fine condition. She made the entire trip above decks like a fine lady. You'll find no marks. She's young, she's supple, she's strong. Posture, boy, posture. Use her to wash, to weave, to plow, to sew, what you will. Good investment, gentlemen. Put her to it, and she'll raise you a fine litter of pickaninnies. That's enough. But, as the horse said, turning from bottle to bed, enough of pleasure to work. It's time to proceeding. Who will offer me 100 pounds for this fine wench? Do I hear 100 pounds? Do I hear 100 pounds? We'll start at 50. Ooh, I have 50 over here. 50, 50, 50, 55, I'll go 55. I've got 50, 50, 55, it'll give me 60, you'll give me 70, 75, 50. I got a 70, 70, it'll give me an 80 over here. 100, 115, 115 once. Twice. Sold, Sir Robert Calvert of Virginia. 115 pounds. Very shrewd purchase.
Good lines to that one.
Look at his eyes. He's not even close to being broken.
Now, here's a likely-looking hand, a prime young buck, just picked from the trees. Bright as a monkey. Good bones, sinew. Wanted free of defect. Good teeth, good for Carolina rice. Virginia tobacco, Maryland corn. Pull like an ox and carry like a mule. Step up, see for yourself, gentlemen. He's free of thieves, files, French pox. He's young, biddable, fine animal, gentlemen. I'm going to start the bidding at 150. There's no need to waste time. He's the pick of the herd, gentlemen. You won't find his like in these degenerate days. Who'll give me 150? I hear 150. All right. 125. Gentlemen, I sold a buck, half of this, for 200 guineas a fortnight ago in Baltimore. 125, 125, I'll go 130. Hey, I'll go 125, I'll go 30. 130. 130, you'll give me 135, 135, 130, 130, 135. 145, sold.
The so-called white man, the Arabs and the Africans. The Arabs and the Africans had the Sahara slave trade.
That's right.
The Arabs and the Africans, the Muslims, they had the black man and Hispanic in slavery. The Africans rounded you up, and the Arabs, they sold you to the Grecians. Read that.
And thine eyes shall look.
So when your sons and daughters was taken, the what? Your what?
And thine eyes.
And your eyes, when your sons and daughters was taken out of your hands, read.
Shall look.
And you look. And you look as your sons and your daughters was taken out of your grasp, out of your hands. Read.
And fell.
And your eyes was failed. You was longing in tears, crying, looking at your kids going to Master Bob. Read.
With longing for them.
And you was longing for them to come back because you didn't want them to leave. Read.
All the day long.
Because they separated you from your children.
Right.
And you was crying and failing all day what?
And fell with longing for them all the day long.
All the day long because they weren't coming back. Your kids was not coming back. Give you all 47. Read.
Verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God.
Because you serve not the Lord thy God. Read.
With joyfulness and with gladness.
So when you had rulership in the time of David and all them and the kings, you didn't serve the Lord thy God. Read.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart.
Since you didn't serve the Lord thy God with gladness and in heart, read.
For the abundance of all things.
For because you had everything, the rulership, the earth was given to you.
That's right.
You was ruling the earth. You had rulership of the earth at one time. In the dark ages. You had rulership of the earth.
Bring it out.
But you didn't serve the Lord thy God with all the abundances that he gave to you. So you went into captivity and got these curses.
That's right.
That's why you're in the condition that you're in today. But you blacks and Hispanics don't realize that. Don't look at the sign. You don't even wonder. A sign in the wonder your kids getting shot down in the street every day. That's a sign that you are in under the curses. And nobody get convicted. I mean, there's a judgment for if you commit a crime and don't commit a crime. You get the same judgment, which is death. Read.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
So, since you didn't serve the Most High with abundance and joyfulness and gladness when you had the rulership, you're going to do what?
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
So you was gonna serve your friends.
Thine enemies.
You was going to serve your enemies, which is the other nations. You have enemies. The other nations are your enemies. Once you figure that out and come back to God's laws, we can get up out of here.
That's right.
We can leave this place.
That's right.
Read.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
But long as you don't understand, you're going to serve your enemies. Every day you're going to get shot down. You're going to serve your enemies. You're going to march. You're going to protest. And they ain't got no solution. But this is the solution right here. To keep God's commandments. Teach them to your kids. Read.
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
And who sent these nations against you? Which is your enemy? Read.
Which the Lord.
The who?
The Lord.
No, the white man came and got you on his own.
Which the Lord.
The Lord.
Shall send against thee.
So the Lord, the Most High, sent these nations against you blacks and Hispanics and Native American Indians. Read.
In hunger and in thirst.
So you was going to serve them in hunger. Just like you go to Washington Shores. You got your enemies selling you food.
Right.
They serving you because you hungry.
Right.
You got to go spend your money. Read.
And in thirst.
And in thirst. You go to the grocery store. You don't own the big water streams. Where you don't own Zephyr Hills water. You don't own Aquafina.
Right.
You don't own Deer Park.
Right.
You don't own these water companies. You got to go to your enemies to get drink, to get water. Read.
And in nakedness.
And in nakedness. If you want something to wear. If you want the material to make you something to wear, you got to go get it from your enemy. You got to go to Joanne Fabrics. You got to go get the material that you need, the textile company, to go get what you need to make your own garment. Nah, I made this myself. Read.
And in want of all things.
So if you wanted anything, you had to go to your enemies. In want of all things. What are some of those things that you want? What are some of those things you blacks and Hispanics want in this captivity that you got to go to your enemy for? Food stamps. Section 8, a job, WIC, even WIC, driver license, toilet paper, anything you want in your captivity, you got to get it from your enemies.
That's right.
Because you can't produce it yourself because you drunk and high.
Right.
You can't do nothing, drunk and high.
Bring it out.
Right.
You can't build no nation, drunk and high.
Right.
In a curse.
Bring it out.
Read.
And he shall put a yoke.
And your enemy shall do what?
And he shall put a yoke.
And your enemy shall put a yoke. Your enemy shall put a yoke. What is a yoke? Read. Something that goes around your neck. That's a yoke. And that only happened to the blacks and Hispanics in the slave trade. Read. On these cargo slave ships. Read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron.
A yoke of iron. Anybody know what a yoke of iron? The so-called black man had a yoke around his neck with four long iron pieces coming out of it. So if you ran, you got stuck between trees. You couldn't run far with the yoke of iron upon your neck. Right. You couldn't turn no which way. Right. The Hispanics did too. Read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
And that's where you at today, in a destroyed state.
Right. That's right.
He put a yoke of iron upon your neck until he what?
Until he have destroyed thee.
And he got you blacks and Hispanics destroyed, your enemy, who put the yoke around your neck. That's right. He got you destroyed because you don't want to listen to the Most High God's words when they're coming out to you. You don't want to hear the Most High's prophets giving you the instructions to get about your captivity.
That's right.
Read. Give me 37.
Verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment.
You blacks and Hispanics have become an astonishment today. Your pants sagging. The other day she look at you because you're an astonishment. Wow, he funny. Yeah, he look like a jigaboo. A monkey with his pants hanging. Right. He like a cartoon character. He got his pants sag down. He got to pull them up every time he walk.
Bring it up. Bring it up.
You're astonishment in front of these other nations. Read.
A proverb.
And you're a proverb. Put it in the book. A black man won't read it. How to put it in the book and a black man will not read it. They always in jail. They on child support. They don't never take care of their kids. Right. That's why the black woman got to go to her enemy to get whipped. Right. Because the black man won't even work.
Right. That's right.
He want to sell drugs all day. Oh, I'm gonna take care of my family with these drugs. And then you make that and go buy weed.
Let's bring it out, brother.
You sell the drugs, then you go buy your weed, and now you ain't got no money. I'm feeding my family. Man, you feeding yourself. And killing your people.
Right. That's right. Bring it out.
Read.
And a byword among.
Hold on.
And hold on. Let's go back to what the brother been saying about the pants sagging. Don't you know that came from slavery as well? Don't you know when you was chained up, the so-called white man used to pull down the slave's pants so he can't escape? Don't you know that? Don't you know the history? It was a point where he did it for humiliation, to humiliate you. That's what it's for. So now you Negroes are doing it automatic now.
Right. Right. That's right.
Now you are doing what you was programmed to do in slavery.
Right. Right.
You calling your own self a mockery. Read that.
Read.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 20, verse 4. So shall the king of Assyria lead away the Egyptians prisoners and the Ethiopians captives, young and old, naked and barefoot, even with their buttocks.
Even with their what?
Even with their buttocks.
Even with their what?
Even with their buttocks.
Even with their buttocks. Their butts what?
Uncovered.
Uncovered. Uncovered. Just like the officer said. Shame. Go back to shame. They pulled down your pants in Egypt as a shame. As a mockery against you. But you wear it today as a fashion.
Right.
As a style. Yo. No, give me Deuteronomy 28:68. Close up.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again.
Read it again.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So the Most High was going to bring the children of Israel into Egypt again with ships. Egypt means bondage. Egypt means bondage. Again, a second time. Because the blacks and the Spanish was in Egypt, in Egypt in history once. And they didn't go there on ships. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
So how you was going to go in captivity on how Moses said how you gonna go in captivity on ships. That's how it's gonna be. By the way whereof, where Moses spake. Read.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
So the Most High say you won't see your land again. You won't see your homeland again, which is Jerusalem. Read.
And there
where you was gonna be brought captive, and there in the United States of America.
That's right, bring it up.
The United Snakes of America.
That's right.
United Snakes of America.
That's right.
Read.
And there ye shall be sold.
And there where you go captive, you gonna be sold. Sold. Big word, sold. You was gonna be sold. Read.
Unto your enemies.
There it is again. Unto who?
Your enemies.
Nah, your friends.
Your enemies.
You was gonna be sold unto your enemies.
Right.
The blacks and Hispanics was sold unto their enemies. You got enemies, black and Hispanics.
That's right.
Cause we brothers. Read.
For bondmen.
For slave men.
And bondwomen.
And slave women. Read.
And no man shall buy you.
And no man was gonna buy you out of this captivity. The only person can buy you out of this get you out of this captivity is Christ.
That's right.
The black Messiah. And with that, I'm gonna say shalom.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.